All right, good folks. Today, annotated bibs. First, a few words about the research paper. I met with, come on, do this. There we go. Met with English 12 teachers, and we had to work out a few things. So here's the new information. You don't need your laptops open right now, so close it. And yes, close them. You won't need them. Yes. First, rough draft, due March 20th. Yeah, I know, like a whole month away, right? It's the same. It's the same exact day that the essay was due last year, just a different date because the calendar shifts. Anyways, final draft Thursday, April 2nd, and honestly, I think that's a benefit for you because I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could work on your final draft throughout all of spring break because you need something to do, right? But I think it's better for you, maybe even for me, definitely for you, for this to be done out of your life. So that's the plan. Probably it's going to be done out of your life. So final draft, due the day before spring break. You're going to need 7 sources for your research paper. I originally stated that you'd need 8, but Ivy Tech requires 7. So we're going to use 7. You need at least 1 source from a research journal. I'll show you how to do that today. 1 source from a book chapter. I'll show you how to find that today. And 1 source from a creditable web source. Just go on Google, find a creditable web source. April 2nd, that's fine. You can submit it wherever you are, or you can just submit it the day before. Yes. It is your last major assessment done out of your life. Before, what are you going to do in May, essentially? We're going to read Color of Water. It's a delightful book. Yep. Good folks. Any questions? All right. Open up assignment 2.6. Is your laptop working?
I got a new
one. Say again.
I got a new one.
Oh, good. And I could tell you, I could describe the assignment, but I find it so much easier to show you. So open up the second link in 2.6. It's exemplar annotated bib. Exemplar is a fancy word that means high quality example. So we have our high quality example written by none other than Ezekiel Exemplar. I love using this example because a freshman wrote it. And so I show it to my seniors as a way to say, if a freshman can do this, you can do this. He wrote an amazing annotated bib 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever that is. So I keep using it. He wrote about cloning. His research paper was about cloning. So his annotated bib was about cloning. And this right here, you see that right there? That is an annotated bibliography. Because the top part, the double space part, is the bibliography entry. The bottom part, the single space part, is the annotation. Like when you annotate for class, you write notes in the margins. You're doing that, but you're typing the notes in paragraph form. I'm going to say ready, set, go with this assignment pretty soon. I want you to figure out what you should do with this assignment. So for the next 60 seconds, just read through this document and come up with some questions to ask about how to complete an annotated bibliography. Go. Say again.
2.6.
Yes. That's it. It's just one of the rules they have. I don't know. 50 seconds. Just read through this one to figure out what you're supposed to do. Good. Maybe they're just more reliable ways to cite sources. EasyBib will like add double entries in an incredibly distracting way. So I'll show you a way to cite faster today throughout the weeks. All right, people, I need some questions. Surely you have them. Yes. Great question. You're doing two things. You're summarizing the article, and then Ivy Tech calls it a reflection or evaluation. Just say why it's useful for your paper, or say how it connects to another source that you've already found. So summary, and then its usefulness. Yes, and then yes.
So we have to use the 7 types of sources that you want.
7 types.
Yeah, and it says the academic journal book chapter stuff.
So you need to find one example of those 3. After that, you can find other sources.
So we don't do a book. We could do academic journal instead of a book.
No, you need to find at least one academic journal. You need to find at least one chapter from a book.
Yeah. So we have to do one of every single one.
One of the 3. You could have 3 academic journals.
Okay.
And then 1 chapter from a book, and then 1 creditable web source, and then 2 other sources. You just have to have 1 representative example from that list of 3. I'll get to it in the next assignment, or in the next document.
In this assignment, do I have to find 7 for this, or will I do more?
No, you're finding 7 sources. I'll explain in a minute. Yeah, do that.
Like what we bring up about the source be more subjective or objective, because it kind of talks about what it's pushing. This one talks about articles very strong, that is on the side of claiming. Talks about kind of the subjective side of it. Can you touch on that as well?
Yeah. So you're gonna be objective at the beginning. This article is about blah. Then you can add in your opinion about why this article is useful. That's the subjective part. So you'll have both. Yes, sir. Recording the. Oh, it's just the documents for you to record where you found research. You know what? So who sees that recording the research assignment? You know what? I didn't say anything to first and second period about it. I don't know how useful it is. Your annotated bib is going to be due in a few days anyway. I'm just going to cut it. So the recording the research assignment, I'll cut it. Don't fret about it. You just need to find your sources for this annotated bib. Mr. A, what's the purpose of the numbers after the annotations? I'm so glad you asked. The numbers represent how many words appear in this citation or in the annotation. Just highlight the words. You don't need to count them. Good heavens. Just highlight them. And at the bottom of the screen, down here, bottom left, it tells you that there are 136 words. So you put 136 in parentheses to tell me you have 136 words. You need at least 100 words per annotation. And I put that requirement in there to ensure that you don't type 2 sentences and think you're done. Most of you wouldn't do that. Some might, so I need to give you a word count. Once you summarize the article and explain why it's useful, you're going to get to 100 words easy. Any other questions? All right, I am almost finished talking. I have about 10 more minutes, and then you're going to have work time the rest of class. Go to the assignment doc, the top one. Open that. turn your laptops. Show me your screen once you have opened it. Okay, good. This doc, it's going to look like other docs that you see in college that professors give out. I don't want you to become intimidated by the assignments that professors give you. Or if you go into your career, you're going to be given these complex documents. I don't want you to be confused or concerned about them. Look how long this document is, how many words it contains, just to tell you to write an annotated bibliography. Don't let all this intimidate you. Because here's the deal. This skills portion, you don't even need to know that in order to complete this task. I put it in there because Ivy Tech wants me to put it in there. But all of this, you don't even need it. That is 208 words. Not necessary. In college level assignments or some career types of documents, you're going to see a lot of, what do they call it? Jargon. Terminology that's specific to the field. Let me show you. Here it is. First few sentences. Listen for the jargon. A bibliography is a formal list of sources. An annotated bibliography is a formal list of sources accompanied by a summary paragraph of each source. A critical annotated bibliography is a formal list of sources accompanied by a summary and evaluation/reflection of each source. What do they mean? They just mean a critical annotated bibliography, which is what you're going to create, is what I showed you that ninth grader created. It's a list of sources, an annotation of them, and then you explain why the source is useful. So anyway, don't let the jargon, the academic jargon, confuse you. Instead, think of it as like another language that you become fluent in. You don't use it at home. That's not the way you talk to like your family or your kids or your significant other, but it's the way you talk at work. Anyways, here's another example of this. Jargony speech. Drawing on Bloom's taxonomy of learning domains. You don't need to know that. I mean, look it up if you want to. Have fun with it. But you don't even need to know it to complete this assignment. Don't let the jargon confuse you. All right, moving on. What you do need to know is the task. Like, what am I supposed to do? So, the task says, once you've settled on a research topic for your final argument essay, it is time to begin the research process. You must find and annotate. That says must will find. That's not my typo. That's Ivy Tech's. Must will find. Anyways, and annotate 7 different sources that pertain to your research question. These may include sources previously used in the course if relevant. In other words, if you find that Milgram's essay is useful for you, use it. All right. Were you talking about this list? Try not to use names because of the video. This is the list? Yeah. Did she explain it well to you?
I mean, like you just have to use one of each of those 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So in your 7 sources, at least one of them has to be from an academic journal. At least one of them has to be from a book chapter. At least one of them has to be from a credible web source. The others, it's up to you. The other 4. The other 4 could, but don't have to, come from these types of sources. Someone first period wants to write about film, so he's going to include at least one film in his sources. Someone first period wants to write about, or is thinking about writing about the separate but equal Supreme Court case, Dred Scott, I believe it is. So he's going to have a court ruling as a source. Format, each source should be presented as an MLA or APA style citation. We use MLA. We have been using MLA. We'll worry about APA later. Don't worry about that. We're going to use MLA. And here, these 3 questions tell you what you should write in the annotation. I counted the number of question marks. I think there are 9. So that means there are 9 questions that you're supposed to answer. Here's the thing. You don't Like, you don't have time and space to answer 9 separate questions in 100 words. So what you do is you use these questions just to figure out, like, what should I say? Again, you don't have to answer all 9 of them for your annotation, but use these 9 to help you get to 100 words in your annotation. Other questions? Here's the criteria, the rubric. You can read this on your own. It's worth 100 points. The assignment, worth 100 points. I'm almost done talking. Just 5 more minutes. All right, last bit. In today's lesson plan, there's this image. So this image is going to take you to databases that will be useful for your research. You have this class in Canvas. You probably have to click all the way over here to the left, and maybe you have it. I have it here. Come on. FHS library. But you may have to click into all courses and search for the library. We all need to access this course, the library course. So access it and then turn your laptop. Everyone needs to be here just so we can move on. So just turn your laptop, leave it turned, and then we'll proceed once everyone has this page open. See,
Go on today's module 2.6.
click on courses. Go there. It is. You have it available. Do you have this page in Canvas? Yeah, find that page. It's in FHS library. Finding it. All right. Finding it back here. Raise a hand if you need some help. Yep, that's it. Okay, very good. So Google is a good place to start if you're looking for non-academic sources, newspaper articles. When you look for the academic source, go here. Databases. And the first database is the one that's most useful, JSTOR. Like, I use JSTOR all 4 years of college and then my 3 years of graduate school. JSTOR was with me. It was my friend. It's something that may stay with you for a while, right? JSTOR. Benefit of JSTOR is that it only gives you articles published by experts, typically professors. It does not give you like blogs that someone published from their basement, like mom's basement. It doesn't do that. It just gives you articles typically by professors. So I'm going to search cyberbullying. Now, a word about JSTOR, probably not a good place to start your research because it's hyper specific. I figure you know how to start research on Google. You've used Google before, but I need to show you how to use JSTOR. So we have 381 articles. You may come up with like 40,000 if you write about something that's more, that's an older problem than cyberbullying. So this article, taking control through research-based letter writing, published by these people in the English Journal. It's 5 pages. We can click on it. And just look through the article. Boom, page, etc. Benefit to JSTOR, there's a Cite This Item button. Boom. Click on it. There's the MLA citation. Now, this is an article about like how a classroom used letter writing to, I guess, combat cyberbullying. I don't know. Probably not relevant to my paper. So let's find something that may be more relevant. So traditional bullying and cyberbullying. This article may be relevant, but it's 18 pages long. 18, it's too much. I can't read all that. Well, JSTOR in many of the articles helps you out because on the left side, there's something called the abstract. Abstract is a thing of beauty. All it means is summary of the article that you're about to read. So if I go to this abstract, I can start to read the summary, and if the article doesn't sound relevant, I'm moving on. I don't have to read all the 18 pages. Just read the abstract and move on. So let's start reading. The need for an integrated approach to studying bullying behaviors, both traditional and cyber in adolescence, is increasingly evident. The definitional criteria of bullying are well established in the traditional bullying literature and include intention, repetition, and power imbalance. That's a lot of big words, but I'm going to key in on this sentence here. This sentence means that the article is going to give me some kind of academic definition of bullying. That's probably useful. I am going to read this article, and I'm not quoting from all the article, but from this little bit, I'm probably quote from it. I'm probably going to use it in my paper. So this article is going in my annotated bib, just based on reading the abstract. And so I'd have to read the article after reading the abstract. If an article doesn't have an abstract, consider just not even looking into it. You can also download PDFs of the articles you find. Any questions? I'm trying to stop talking soon so you can have work time.
So the abstract will just be under, like, the side if it's there.
Yes, it'll be to the side, to the left.
And you said don't even bother with it.
I mean, if it's a potentially useful essay, sure. If you don't have an abstract, you can read the first and last paragraphs, and they're almost like an abstract.
Okay.
All right, that's a whole lot of talking on my part. I need to stop so that you can write. Today, tomorrow, some of Thursday, you're going to get work time to complete this annotated bib. Go online, search for articles, learn about your topic. While you're doing that, I'm going to come around the room and talk with you about your assignment from last night, the paragraph you wrote about your potential topic. All right, that's it, folks. Get to work.